that unwanted child became the greatest goal scorer football has ever seen. More than 900 goals later, this is how. In 1984, a poor cleaning woman on the island of Madeira begged her doctor to end her pregnancy. He refused. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro was born on the 5th of February, 1985, in Funchal, on the island of Madeira. Home was a tiny house with a tin roof on a hillside, where 4 children shared one cramped bedroom. His mother, Dolores, cooked and cleaned other people's houses. Some weeks, there was barely enough food on the table. His father, Jose Dinas, worked as a gardener and washed kits at a tiny local club called Andorinha. Dinas had come home broken from the war in Africa, and he carried that pain the only way he knew: drinking. Cristiano later admitted he never really knew his father sober. The bottle was slowly taking Dinas away from them. But Dinas gave his son one thing that changed everything. He brought the boy to the club where he washed kits. At Andorinha, 7-year-old Cristiano was skinny, small, and impossible to catch. Teammates called him the Little Beast. When he lost, he cried, even in training. His cousins remember it clearly. Losing felt physical to him, like hunger. At 10, the island's biggest club came calling. National signed him, and the transfer fee was 2 sets of youth football kit. 2 years later came the phone call that terrified his mother. Sporting Lisbon, the Giants, wanted the boy for a trial. Lisbon was 600 miles away, across the open Atlantic. Dolores would be sending a 12-year-old to another world, alone. The family gathered and asked Cristiano what he wanted. He answered without hesitating. He wanted to go. At the trial, coaches watched a skinny kid do things with a football they had never seen from a 12-year-old. Sporting signed him for roughly £1,500. It became the greatest bargain in Portuguese football history. The contract was the easy part. What nearly destroyed Cristiano Ronaldo was not football. It was loneliness. 1997. The boy lands in Lisbon with a small bag and his mother's blessing. Then the family flies home. He phoned home crying so often that his family began to dread the sound of the telephone. At school, classmates laughed at his thick island accent. To them, Madeira was a backwards rock in the ocean. He hid in his room, homesick and furious. Quitting would have been easy. Almost anyone would have quit. Then, one day, a teacher mocked him in front of the whole class. Cristiano picked up a chair and threw it. He was expelled at 14. One moment of rage, and the academy had every reason to send him home. Dolores flew to Lisbon expecting the worst. Instead, mother and son made a deal that decided football history. No more school, all in on football. If he was going to survive Lisbon, it would be with a ball. He trained obsessively, sneaking back onto the pitches at night, determined to outwork every doubt anyone had about him. By 15, coaches whispered he could become the best in the world. Then, a routine medical nearly ended everything. Doctors discovered his heart was racing dangerously fast, even at rest, a condition that could end his career, maybe worse. His mother was told her son might have to stop playing football completely. She kept it from almost everyone. The answer was surgery. A laser would cauterize the part of his heart that was misfiring. He was 15 years old. The operation took place in the morning. By the afternoon, Cristiano was already asking when he could train again. Days later, he was back on the pitch as if nothing had happened. Except now, nothing could scare him. At 16, Sporting pushed him through 4 youth levels and the first team in 1 season. Nobody in Portugal had done that. At 17, he made his first team debut, and the newspapers began printing a new name, the boy from Madeira. Then, in August 2003, Sporting played a friendly against Manchester United. 90 minutes changed his life forever. Ronaldo tortured United's defenders that night. In the dressing room afterwards, United's own players begged Alex Ferguson, sign him. Ferguson paid over £12 million, making the 18-year-old the most expensive teenager in English football history. Then, he handed the boy the number 7 shirt, the shirt of George Best, Eric Cantona, David Beckham. In 2005, a phone call reached Cristiano while he was away with the national team. His father was dying. Jose Dinas died of liver failure at 52. He never saw his son to become the best player in the world. Cristiano answered grief the only way he knew: work. In 2008, he scored 42 goals in a single season. That year, he lifted the Champions League in Moscow, then the Ballon d'Or as the world's best. He dedicated it to his father. A year later, Real Madrid paid £80 million, a world record for the kid from the tin roof. 5 Ballon d'Ors, 5 Champions Leagues, a European Championship for Portugal, more international goals than any man in history, more than 900 career goals, and every single one built on a hillside in Madeira. An empty stomach, a racing heart. The mother who once begged a doctor to end her pregnancy now calls that child her miracle. That refusal changed football forever. Every legend starts at zero. Next time, the boy doctor said would never grow. His name was Lionel Messi.